Hello there, everyone. This is Soul Super 17 here. Let me get through this like usual. I did not own, this picture. This is not a paid video. Alright, okay. So, I had to go back into the video, look up where I was at. I had Madara save Nedre. Um, you know, then he fights Bako and Ida along with Kami or Araka's not gonna talk to him. And the thing about All Might, I was basically tired, like legit. I was like near the when I got to the hero versus villains part, I was like starting to fall asleep a little bit. So I made All Might basically had like a brain fart. I mean, just like forget what he said. So let me go into this little bit of the backtrack on that. Let me just tell you this. All right. So basically, even though Madara told him about chakra and the eyes and everything, and he brought himself to be his self, All Might had to put on an act. He can't let other people know that he knows this power, and he had to ask Cammy about it and such, and he had to get in the mindset of saying, okay, even though I know it's not a quirk, I still have to believe it's a quirk and such. So while he was waiting for Madara to get to school in that week, he convinced himself that it was a quirk, even though it's not. Basically, he convinced himself so that way no one would be too suspicious. All right, so that is why I had that. I'm sorry. That's the only way I messed up. I wanted All Might not to be, think it was a quirk, and he was like all for one and all that, but but my brain just was tired, and I just started talking, and yeah, my apologies. So, anyways, the ship's two people. You guys already know them. I don't care. Like, I just don't care. It's gonna be two ships. I'm not gonna say what they are, but you guys can just guess. Alright? Alright. So, let's get into this video. Alright, everyone. This is what if Deku was betrayed and, well, and was the reincarnation of Madara. So, after the USJ, he basically, they basically come to school the next day. Reporters are in, Kaminari says the same thing, canon and everything else. But Kami has been looking at Madara. He's just been sitting there reading a book, just reading it. And then he notices Kami has been looking at it for about a good 10 to 15 minutes. He goes, Kami, you alright? She shakes her head, so like, yeah, I'm fine, and all. I'm okay. And she just knows this is weird, but does she have a crush on me? Well, I mean, I like her too, but I'm not sure if I'm ready yet. So the great Madara has cold feet on asking a girl out. Yeah, that's happening. I don't care. That's happening. So, you know, he just says, all right then. He goes back to reading a book. Bako kind of just like asks, can we come over? So they walk over in the back, and Bako just says, like, why don't you just ask him out already? She goes, I can't. I'm scared, all that. And he goes, ugh. Just because of what he did? He goes, no, what? I'm not scared of what he did. I was impressed by it, and I wanted to, ask him out right then and there, but I still don't think he, would say yes to me and all that. And she has a little, like, scared, like, pouty look on. Well, she was pouting when she said that, so Bakugo says he understands, but still, just don't wait too long. She nods. So they go back over. A few minutes later, not Principal Nezu, but Aizawa says, Izuku Midoriya, come to the principal's office with me. He just sighs, and, Kami just says, Bakugo just says, Kami and Bakugo says, what did you do? And he goes, nothing. It's just probably because of those people that were with us yesterday, and well, they probably want me to explain how do I know them, so my past is gonna be revealed. As Kami's afraid because she knows what's gonna happen. Kaminari just, says this. Dude, just be careful, alright? Because, you know, I think Kaminari does know a little bit about, chakra and all that and a little bit of his past, but, he just knows that he has killed people and it's a killed or be killed world, where he came from before he was reincarnated and such. And that's all he knows. So Kaminari does not like blame him, which you know he just knows what's gonna happen. Like he's just got that good, basically. So what happens? Next, Aizawa and him are walking over to Principal Nezu's office. He just says to him, he goes like, "So, let me ask you a question, Izuku." He goes, "Yes, Sensei." How do you know those people that came to you to give you that scroll that you've had to have all your weapons in? That you basically had them be able to be modified to not hurt people, and well, that somehow in some way you one of them made you be afraid, and yet you always have to look where you're not afraid. As Madara just tells him this, he goes, "Okay, there was nothing I was afraid of, but only one person. He did something to me, let's just say that, and it was for a whole entire year, but in reality it was only for a few minutes. It felt like a year, basically," he says. As he goes, "Uh-huh." And he goes, "He made me eat ramen for a whole entire year, and I hated ramen." Hold on, everyone. Alright, everyone, I'm gonna be downstairs at this moment. So, because my mom's gonna go help my dad split wood. So, I got no one to basically, if you heard that machine run, that's the washing machine. So, I'm in a different area of the house now. I'm on the first floor, basically. But anyways, so he goes, "So that's why you had a little fear, basically, when you saw that kid with the man with the yellow hair." As he says, "Yeah, don't ever mess with that guy. He's just way too much." So, they get to Principal Nezu's office. Aizawa knocks, and, Nezu says, "Come in." So, when he does, they get into the office, and he asks Madara to sit down. So he does. He goes through the same explanation. Well, asks the same questions. He asked the same question, which Aizawa did. He explains the exact same way. And about who was their people, he just said those were Sasuke Uchiha and Naruto Uzumaki. And they ask, "How do you know them?" He goes, "Would you believe a reincarnation?" And Nezuko goes "What?" He goes, "Would you believe of a reincarnation?" Nezu goes, "Maybe, but that's impossible." He goes, "No, it is not." As he explains it all, and about the Sage Six Paths and all that, and All Might's there, and he goes, and basically when he gets to the chakra, Nezu says, "Chakra, that's impossible." Basically, how can anyone be able to wield chakra, basically, he thinks. He says out loud, and Madara just says, "I can do it, though. You've seen what I can do with it." Even All Might reads just tells, Nezu. In this case, we know nothing of, because he was reincarnation into this world. That means where he came from was totally different from us. So we got to think about this way more different. It's impossible, yes, but it is basically a fact now that somebody from another world, actually from another reality or dimension, was reincarnated to here. So, yes, you have to admit, it is weird, but it is true. As Nezu says, alright, I admit, I am a little bit freaked out by this, but if it is true, then so be it. And so, he then explains about the Uchihas and the eyes and such, and that, he can go into, like, multiple stages. He goes through 1 Tomoe, 2 Tomoe, 3 Tomoe, then the Mangekyo, turn to Mangekyo, then the Renegon, then the Sharingan. Basically. Also, his shadow clones got him up to about an 80%. No, 82% strength back to his, to how strong he was. So, yeah. So, basically, Nezu, I want to just add that, but anyways, Nezu then asked him, so, how was your world like, and what were, you did, Madara? He goes, alright, then you will know there were no heroes. There was no laws about killing. It was wrong and such. It was all about survival. Killed or be killed world, basically. As Nezu, understands this, and Aizawa was like, what? So he tells him about what he did there, and how he died, and then how he was reincarnated, and how that went along, and his plan, basically. And basically, somebody overheard him saying this. A boy with hair and basically a fury of Class 1A, that, a hatred of Class 1A. So, he decides, since now he knows this, he waits till he gets to the end, and then he runs off. He's basically, sort of telling people, everyone that, who Deku really is. And this spreads all across the school very quickly. Even Nejire hears this, and she is shocked by it. But then, while that is happening, he's just spreading it. Nezu says, and that's how it was. I couldn't, help it. I wanted to change the world, try to be a hero, but instead I was becoming, something else. So, it wasn't that it wasn't that I believed what I was doing was wrong, but now I know it was, so I'm trying to atone for my crimes and my sins. I'm trying to just atone. And being a hero is the way I can do it. So, Nezu understands now. And All Might said, and Madara looks at All Might, and he says, and it's all thanks to you that I, decided to be myself again. Thank you, All Might. And All Might just laughs and goes, it was no problem, young Madara. You did ask me a question, and you did explain about your past, so I'm just glad you can become a hero. Now, do not let anyone stand in your way of your dream. Not even I, if I get in it. And Deku just says, oh yeah, I was wondering, why did you ask Cammy about my quirk, chakra, and everything? And he goes, well, at the time, I was trying to, act like I didn't know you already, or about your power. So, before that school week happened, and before the letters came in, I convinced myself it was a quirk. And that it was a person called All For One who gave you it. As he goes, alright. And I basically just acted the way I did until the USJ. I had enough of the acting and told Nezu that we needed to talk to you. And it was my idea. So, I'm sorry if you had to reveal your past to us that if you didn't want to. And Madara just nods, saying, no, it's no problem at all. I understand. So, is that all, Principal Nezu? Principal Nezu nods, and then before Madara gets up off the chair, no, after he gets up off the chair and starts walking, he stops in the middle of the room. And he says, "Oh, by the way, somebody overheard our conversation, and they're gonna be probably spreading rumors about me. So plenty of people will betray me, but I will not care. I will become a hero." As he just leaves. All Might, says, "Well, this is gonna be quite a predicament then." Even Ozawa says, "Yeah, we basically got a freaking kid who has unlimited power, and we can't even do nothing about it. Also, I like him too much. I like him now way too much. So if he leaves, I'm out. I'm out. I'm not teaching this school no more." Prince Nezu looks and goes like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I just like Madara way too much now. Peace." So that happens. He literally just said peace and walked out of the room. So as soon as Deku gets to class and all, it's basically that rumor spread in a matter of minutes. Well, no, the fact of who Madara is spread in a matter of minutes. When he gets to class, he just knows the atmosphere changed, and he doesn't even care. He just walks in like nothing ever happened. Ida, well, yeah, I said people are gonna betray him, even in his class. Ida just wants to know the facts, so he goes over to him and he goes, "Can you please explain to me about your, power and all that?" He goes, "It's chakra, not a quirk. Basically, it's life energy, and I can manipulate it." So it even goes worse with my eyes, as he shows them, which I can basically use as a genjutsu. Also, if you're gonna ask me about where I came from and why am I a killer, because it's an age of ninjas. We kill people. It's a kill to be killed world out there. So I can't help it. I had to kill people to survive, to come back home safely. And yes, I did, as you can say, I was a villain. I was in the wrong, which at the time I thought I was doing the right. But I realized in the end I did a very bad thing, which now I am trying to become a hero to atone. If you heard me on the bus saying that, remember? Azita nods. He goes, "I understand. I only wanted the facts, so thank you." So he leaves, goes back into his seat. Suyu's just looking at him, thinking she says, "That's pretty amazing, Madara." And he goes, "Thanks. Just call me Izuku. I go by Madara or Izuku Midoriya, so it doesn't matter to me." And she nods. So Kirishima, Mina, and Kawanari just look at him and just nods as they go over, and he thinks, "Great, here we go." Kawanari is not gonna say nothing. Mina and Kirishima probably will, as people though who were sitting near him did leave, and they saying "Can we because they didn't want to be near him, so they basically took those people's seats, including Tsuyu. Jiro did too. The rest of the class don't really like him anymore. Well, Ida's alright. He doesn't care. He understands. He can tell there's truth in his words. So, yeah, people don't believe it. So Deku just says, people are gonna hate you guys, right? They all just say we don't care. Araka understands now why he didn't want to use his power no more. So she feels even worse about what she said about him. So yeah. So basically though, Deku, lunch period happens. Deku, when he gets in the lunchroom, everyone just looks at him. He basically just says, "Great." Bako and Cammy are with him. Cammy's holding onto his arm. And he just looks at her and she just tells him, "Don't be afraid of them." He goes "The only person I fear is Naruto Uzumaki. That is all." So, she smiles at that. And basically a whole bunch of people go around him. And Nejure's in the group. She wants to ask him, is he really a killer and all that. And someone like Monomo just says, "Hey, look, everyone, it's Madara Uchiha, a murderer, a villain." One asks, "Did you really kill people in your world? And have you ever killed one in here and all that?" That's all, like, just a whole bunch of questions. And then Madara just had enough. Like, it was only for a few minutes, and he could already tell he was annoyed. Kami and Baku, and Kami just holding on his arm tighter, basically, and then he just says, "Infinite Tsukuyomi." You know, and then all of a sudden, the whole entire cafeteria, everyone sees it as a blank, as they just see Madara, Kami, and Baku still in the middle. He goes like, "This is the Infinite Tsukuyomi Genjutsu. I can make anything happen. Your happiest realities, your worst nightmares, fears, and she includes showing my memories. Now witness my life as a ninja in a killed or be killed world, where there is no quirks, there are no heroes, nor villains. And there are no laws about killing. Only in the shinobi world there is a laws about killing comrades, not others." And then, they just see his whole entire life. They see how it was, what he's done. They see him meet Naruto, and then him dying, and all that, and his plan, how it failed, and all that, and everything. And then how he gets reincarnated, and how he never used his power. He pretended to be quirkless. He has he has been beaten, bruised. He's just been all that. And he never used his power until he needed to defend people. Even Bakugo sees it. And Uraraka was in the room too, so she just sees Bakugo being beat up by a bunch of bullies, and and Madara just comes in and just starts whacking them all away like they're nothing. So yeah. So that happened. And, well, she is amazed by it. Nejire is sighing relief because she thought, he looked like a good guy and all. But when she heard this rumor, she thought it was like, she thought it was like, real and all that. And knowing that he had to survive and all, and that it was necessary, and there were no people in that world that were heroes, and there were no laws like they have in their world. And now people are realizing, like, oh crap, this guy's from another reality and altogether, another dimension. And Monoma just says, "No, that can't be true. How?" Basically just says reincarnation, Blondie. He goes, he goes, "As you saw, I was reincarnated by the Sage of Six Paths. So, you're the one who spread the rumors, spread my information about me." He goes, "Yeah, so if I," he goes, "No mercy for the weak." And they were told about the sports festival and all that they had like a 2-week, 2-week period off. And he goes, "No mercy for the weak." He goes, "What?" He goes, "I have no mercy for you, nor for someone else. But she's a girl, so I'll go easy on her. You're getting the treatment." He goes, "How bad is the treatment?" And Bakugo just says, "Trust me, I'm his friend, and he still gives me the treatment." He goes, "Yes, but you get a less extensive one. He gets the full-on one." And that Bakugo's face just goes from being pale, his normal color, to white instantly, which Monoma says, "Oh God." So everyone leaves with this new information, and they kind of feel bad because they were being a jerk. So, but the only person who doesn't leave is, the big three: Nejire, Sun Eater, and, Mirio. Nejire just runs up to him and just hugs him, basically, and just hugs Madara, which surprises everyone. And including Madara. He did not suspect this. And she just then, like, he goes, Nejire, right? She goes, yes. Why are you hugging me? She just says, I'm sorry, I didn't want to believe it, but at the end I did until you showed. I'm glad you're, not the way you were back then. He was like, yes. As he looks at Cammy, well, she just is like, he sees that she's clenching her fist. She's trying so hard not to yell or do anything. He says, can you please let go? I, um, he can't really think right because he was off guard by this. So he just says, he just asks, please let go. And she does, and she says, sorry, sorry, sorry. He goes, it's fine. But, you know, as, she, like, sees Bakugo and, Cammy, she does ask, like, them, like, why were you not mad? And basically, they say he already explained to us about it, so we don't care. Bakugo just says, yeah, and actually, this guy saved my life more than once, so honestly, it was a pass. It was his past, so he can't help it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. Cam says it does, especially doesn't matter to me. As she just holds his arm again. As Nejiro asks, "Are you dating him?" And her face goes red, and she says, "No." And even Madara says, "Not right at the moment. I'm not dating no one. I'm single." So Cammy, so Cammy thinks, "Oh no, oh no." So Nejiro says, "Oh, can I have your number?" And he goes, "Sure." He doesn't think nothing of this, but he knows, like, he does know Cammy's and likes him, so he doesn't. He says it though, but he's not. He doesn't know that it's gonna affect her. He just thinks he can have more friends then, like, basically. So Nejire, gets his number. She gives his, she gives her number to him. He gives her number to her. So yeah, and Cammy's just thinking, oh no, are they gonna, you know, and then Ted Nedry just says, so what happens if two girls liked you, and which Cammy's thinking, is he gonna say, he only will take one and all? And he goes, well, I don't really care if two girls like me. I'll just take both of them. And he just walks away, which Bago just in shock goes like, oh wait, nerd, get back over here. And he just runs over. He goes like, what do you mean you'll take two girls at once? He goes, yeah, why does it matter? I mean, powerful and all that. I don't know if my, chakra manipulation and my, Sharingan can be passed on here though. So if technically I can make the Uchiha clan, so it doesn't matter to me. And Cammy's face is just smiling, but also red at the same time. And Nejiro just has a sneakily grabs Cammy, and just tells Mirio and Sunny that they're gonna have a girl talk. Shoot, and they just leave. They follow Madara and Bako, and what they're saying is Cammy's just asking questions about Madara, well who he is and what he's like and all, and everything about him, which Cammy explains it all to the best of her abilities and such, because she met him like right around, mm, I think I said middle school, first year. But Bakugo gave her the whole entire information on him, so you know, and basically Madara did like explain some stuff about his life. So yeah, well, when he did not show his power and who he really was at the time, So they all like So basically, Cammy, tells her that, and basically, she's kind of shocked that he had all this power and he did not, show it and all. And now she's interested in him, and she asks, "So do you like him?" Cammy says, "Does even though she asked again, she's asking this again. Cammy didn't answer. Her face went red, and she just says maybe." He goes, "Oh no, you like him. I could tell." And this was even before he, told you who he was, wasn't it? And she nods. So, that Jiraiya just says, if I fall in love with him, he won't mind dating both of us. And, well, basically that kind of, shocks her. And, Also, yeah, but basically, so basically, we're going back over to Madara and Bakugo. They are introduced into Mirio and Sun Eater. They just start talking and all that. And then, 2 weeks. So 2 week, time we're just going right into the 2 weeks. Madara's just training. Physical training, basically. He does tell his mom he's gonna go into, well, a remote location so that we can practice the bring the mirror down to earth sort of thing. And then his Susanoo, perfect Susanoo. Yes, I already given him that. So she says, "All right, just be careful." So during that not during the 2 weeks, it's only like a few days, and he just does it. He basically is able to like cut the meteor in basically two with his perfect Susanoo and all that. And then next the Sage Choice Pass coming along after he was done with training. Yeah, saying he mastered it. And the Sage Choice Pass, basically says, Madara, I have a gift for you. He goes, okay, what is it, Sage? He goes, well, here's the thing. I think it would be very good for you to learn this. Well, you do have the Renaissance ring on, which you have been working on in your own time, right? He goes, yeah. So, let me give you this. As then he has like two spears, one white and one black. As then he puts it into Madara's body, which Madara feels a boost of power. He goes, what the? He goes, and he asks, what is this? And he goes, this is Yin and Yang release of, well, hold on, I need to double check what it was. I wanted to put this in. So basically, he says it's the Nine Tails. He goes, what? Well, isn't like Naruto? Basically goes, oh, well, I asked about it if I was able to to use the good side, yin yang, good and bad side of the Nine Tails, and I asked Corral. He said it was all right. So yes, and also, I have an old friend of yours, and then Hashirama appears. And he goes, Sage, why are why did you bring me? And he sees the green hair, like long green and black hair, Renaissance Ringon at the video. He goes, Madara, how are you? He goes, it's good to see you again, Hashirama. How have you been? He goes, I've been fine. Been dead. But he goes, you look younger, alive, like a teenage version of us again. He goes, yes. He goes, I was reincarnated. I was given a second chance at life, and I've been using no power until recently. Which shocked him. He goes, how long have you not been using? He goes, 14, no, 13 years of not using any chakra. Well, not to harm anyone at least. Besides saving people's lives and all. I mean, like, no killing. He goes, oh, that's good. So he asks, he does ask the Sage, why is Hashirama here? He goes, oh, easy. He's going to teach you wood style, which, that shocks him, even Hashirama. He goes, are you sure? He goes, yes, teach him, and I'll come get you. And so, they work on it, and in about 6 days, he gets it down. Then, Hashirama and him do reconnect, become friends again and all that, and, well, the thing is, he basically, when he was about to leave, he does his goodbye, old friend, to Hashirama. Hashirama says goodbye to him too. Just checking on the wash machine. So, okay, I got 5 more minutes. So, anyways, yeah. So, after that, he leaves. Then Madara's walking back into town. Well, body flickers, just going through the trees and everything else. And he's about at 90% strength of full power. So yeah. So when he gets back to the freaking, city, he sees breaking news. Villains from America, Europe, Russia, everywhere around the world are coming here to Japan to fight All Might. Finally, because they had enough of the symbol of peace. Basically, it's like that. And Madara says, that's the same number of the Shinobi Alliance. This'll be good. Time to test out, see how strong I really am now. See if my skills have become rusty against the army. So he just body flickers over to the location. Well, he's just getting there. He's just body flickering, basically. And just running across the city and jumping. And he just calls his mom saying he's about to fire army. Look on the news. And he just, when she said that, she was like, what? So basically she looks on the news and where All Might is. They're in a remote location where All Might. And he's just in a big area, open field. It looks like a desert-like area. But it's really just dirt. So it's barren. And, basically All Might, says, "Ha, villains! Come at me with your best shot. Well, I will beat you in the end." And then, all the villain, and there's one villain there who's the leader, says, "Big talk, All Might, but we already know you got weakened." And, basically you begin weaker and everything else because you're getting old, as that was an insult. Really, they just insult All Might. Which All Might was a little bit ticked off but he understands. He goes, yes, age is very, very time-consuming on the body, I will admit. So yes, I may be weakened, but I will still defeat you, and all that. So, and then, just then, well, Madara did have a freaking jacket on with a hood. Basically, black jacket on, hood. And then, they just see this hooded figure appear out of nowhere, and he just says, All Might just says, "Wait, is this?" And then he just pulls up, the person just pulls out his hood and says, "Yo, All Might, you mind if I take care of this?" And he goes, Madara, you sure you can take this on? This is an army. And he has, how many? He says the number of the Shinobi Alliance. He goes I can do that easily. I did it before, I can do it again. This is gonna be, basically he says, this is gonna be way too easy. He just cracks his neck, getting all stretched up. And all the villains were what the? Why is that kid here? And then next thing you know, all of a sudden, he does a summoning jutsu. And it's a scroll. Just comes into place, and he just basically he just pulls on it, and then he bites his finger, and he just starts putting, basically he did a spin with putting the blood onto the seals, basically, and then, and all of a sudden, poof, multiple weapons appear. And he's he just chooses, he says, "Eeny, meeny, miny, fan." He just grabs the fan, and, it's just on his shoulder. Hold on, I'm about to, get my clothing. Wash machine. Alright. I'm just, carrying my wash upstairs, and I'm gonna be putting it on my balcony in my house. And so you're gonna hear me open the doors up and everything. That was just a basket. Anyway, so yeah, he basically does that, and basically all my saying, the fin, how much damage can you do with it? He goes a lot, but that's if I put chakra into it. Just with my normal strength, I think I can take out a couple, 20 people to 30. But I cannot do this actually, without my second hand. Other hand. So hold on, everyone. Sorry. All right, I'm back, everyone. But yeah. So All Might says, well, I am running low on power, so I do not mind. And All Might really is not. He just wants to see how much damage he can do. And he goes, "Oh, thank you, All Might." So Madara is just stepping up, and the villains are just saying, "Wait, this kid is gonna fight us." And then one of them says, "Ha! Is that all the reason why? You had to have backup come here, and it's just a kid? Man, All Might, you really are pathetic." And then they just disappear, and all of a sudden, one of them gets hit right in the face, the leader, and he just sent flying through the air. And Madara just has to smile. And they're like, how fast is this? And then he just gets a kick right in the face, that guy, basically. And all of a sudden, you just see multiple versions, multiple shadow clones of Madara, basically just coming in out of nowhere, just fighting off everyone at the end. And then all of a sudden, they just disappear, though. He gets, how many they are on each side, basically. He goes like, huh, just exactly as the number of the Shinobi Alliance. So basically, he just starts wailing on them with just taijutsu, using the fan, blowing them away, and then all of a sudden, just fire style, a fireball jutsu, basically. And people try to use their quirks. Let's say they have some older ones. They only made it smaller, but still, it hit them. It weren't burnt. And then he says fire style, Phoenix flower, jutsu, and then he says wind style, basically. And then all of a sudden, he does basically wood style, wood bindings. And then all of a sudden, multiple people are getting binded by the wood. And then basically what's happening is everyone's seeing on the news that Madara's just taking down multiple villains like they're easy, and these are top villains. He's just dodging them. Every blow that they're taking is just a full-on power. So they are having broken bones. Now they're not dying, they have broken bones. He's only at least 50% of his power, and they were sent flying. And Monoma is seeing this, even Uraraka, Kami, Nezu, Bako, everyone from the school is seeing this. Everyone around the world is seeing this. And they are knowing now that this person is stronger than everyone. And then, basically, he just says, there's a lot of people, but they don't know how he's doing it all at once. And he basically was going from Sharingan to Mangekyo to, basically Eternal Mangekyo, now to the Rinnegan, and basically the Sharingan. And then he says, take this. And then all of a sudden, they just see a meteor coming down out of nowhere. And everyone's like, what the? And then he says, perfect Susanoo. And then boom, a whole entire freaking giant comes out of nowhere in the middle of the battlefield. And he just flies up to, the meteor. And then he just cuts right through the meteor and multiple, chunks of it. He's not stopping until it's very small. So when they come down, they don't kill nobody because they're let's say the size of a medium-sized boulder, so they won't kill no one. Not boulder, a medium-sized rock, and it's just they're just getting bombarded by a little medium-sized rock, basically. I'm talking about bigger than a pebble sort of way. Well, just rocks, basically. And they're just getting hit by them, ow, 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 and all that. And all of a sudden, he stops to Susanoo, and he just falls down. He's just, falling down, basically. Just, basically diving. And then he just starts doing more hand signs. And everyone's going, what is he doing now? And he says, wood style, wood forest! And all of a sudden, basically, basically a whole entire piece of wood is coming out of his hand, going right down to the ground, and then all of a sudden, boom, when it hits the ground, it immediately starts making a force wrapping around everyone, not killing nobody, and a forest is there now. And then he just lands right on a tree branch, and it's right near All Might. His fan was still in his hand the whole. He just then catches his fan because he let it go of it, and he just says, and while he's on the tree branch, he says, "How is that, All Might?" Pretty impressive, right? He just jumps off and lands right in front of All Might. And All Might says, "Yes, that was, and quite terrifying if I do say so." He goes, "Thanks. That was actually pretty fun." So then he puts the fan and all his weapons back into the scroll. He de-summons it. Basically, he puts it back where it belongs in his room. And then he just says, "Well, see ya." And body flickers away. So that happens. Everyone sees it. They did not realize how strong this person was until now. Monoma is afraid for his life. The Sage of Six Paths saw this. Hashirama saw this. Sasuke and Naruto. Even Tsunade saw this. And they were all just laughing. Well, Hashirama was laughing because he didn't know Madara was gonna be this freaking, brutal on them. Naruto was just laughing because It's just because it was funny, and Sasuke just laughing because he did not expect Madara to be this, like, getting this strong so quickly, and he just thought, he was gonna be like, it's gonna take a while, but he should have realized that knowing Madara, he he was gonna do this. And Tsunade just laughed because she remembers the Shinobi Alliance, and she says that is almost similar to what he did to us, to the whole entire Shinobi Alliance. Which then Naruto and Sasuke are even laughing even more. Hashirama is just laughing now. In this age, it's his path, so yeah, I just want to put that in. But yeah, so basically what happens now, he gets home. Inko is just shocked by this. He goes, she says, I knew you were powerful, but I didn't know you were this powerful. He was like, that's a light warm up. I didn't get serious in that fight. 50% of my strength at least. It didn't even put that much chakra, output. And then Kimmy and Nejire and Bakugo just texted him, being like, all of the people that he was friends with are just texting him, just saying like, are you crazy? And then he just said, and it's like, he put them all in a group chat and he says, a little bit, yes. So that happened. That was like in the middle of the second week. So when school happens, everyone knows now about Madara Uchiha and how strong he really is. And well, that's what they think. And all they know is he can't be stopped. No one can stop him. So yeah. So it's the day of the sports festival. Basically, that's when they came back. Nobody comes to class 1A now because of, Madara's there. And he's basically, they think a god. And so he does, though, since he had like both Karamas, a little bit of Kurama chakra within him, he does like talk to them, both the Yang and Yang, basically versions of him, the good and evil. And they come up with an understanding. One forgives him, the other one doesn't, but they do thank him for what he did because they met Naruto now. And they've just been talking for the rest of those days for school, so they came up with an agreement. They help him out. He helps. They help him out with chakra if he needs it, and he comes by and talks to them. And also, he actually can make 2 shadow clones where they can possess them, and they can talk through them and all. So, yeah, and they're okay with that. So, and what else? What else I want to? Oh yeah, so basically, when they get to the sports festival, Madara has to come up there and give a speech. So he goes up, and when he gets up there into basically the stand, he basically says, "Hello there, everyone. You all know me as 2 different names. Basically, not Uzumaki. Izuku Midoriya and Madara Uchiha. Those are both my names. One is from my old life, and another one is for this new one. As you probably saw in the news, what I could do. Yes, that is me fighting and not fake. Also, that was only me using about 85% of my power. Amazing, right? But really, it's only like 50. It's like legit, everything was just 50%. But I'm just making him lie. As everyone's kind of like not saying nothing, it was like, but still, this event, I want everyone to give it their best. I don't want no one to hold back. Push yourself to your absolute limits. Don't let me stop you. I will be holding back because of my power is very dangerous to everyone else here because no one has the exact same. No one can use this power because you rely too much on your quirks. And also, it is another version of my power. It is somewhat similar, but not. You can't use it as I can, and it's called chakra. My power is called that. And basically, your quirks are your life energy. An extension of your life. You can say, I say it is, but in reality it's not. I know it's just a part of you and all. But here's the thing. Chakra could have any meaning. It can be inside your quirks. So, if you do have any chakra, it is your quirk. So, it can get stronger if you train it. If you even train your body too. Also, where I come from, we don't work by ourselves. We have 3 people. 2 people working together. People working together, basically. No one fighting for, dominance or trying to see who's better. We fight to, survive, to live for another day, and to protect the people that we are needed to protect. We work together as a team, and hence, we don't let no one's weaknesses get in our way because we work on them with those people that we are a team with. I see he does remember like Hashirama and him working together at times, and going with his brother and such. Him covered his back, he covered his, and along with Hashirama covered Madara's back and all that. So yeah, and people are getting kind of inspired by this. So he goes, so I want everyone to give their best shot. I will give it my all, but in physical strength with enough enhancement, enough basically working on my way. So go beyond, plus ultra. All right, he just leaves. Also, when he was saying this, the feeling of Madara was in the air. That overwhelming presence, and basically his hair was flowing, and a couple girls, almost every single girl in the school was blushing, but the two that mostly were bright red were Cammy and Nejire. So he walks over, back to his class. Well, Cammy was basically, they were watching it. She was like in the stands, basically. That's what I'm saying. So yeah. There, sports festival. Well, no, we call it. Yeah, everyone's there. Everyone's there in the sports festival. It's just like different events for like third years and first years, second years, and all that. But they're all in one place. But they'll be in a different area. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's how this is working. So before she leaves, she runs over to Madara, hugs him, saying that was a good speech, and Cammy, hugs him too, saying that was good. And though Cammy leaves, she said, "We'll talk later." So yeah. So then it's announced as the cavalry not the cavalry, the obstacle course, and I have to go help out my parents. So this is where I'm gonna have to leave it off, everyone. I do hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you like it. I'm gonna add more stuff to make moderate OP, even more OP. Basically, I may give him KCM. I may give him the KCM cloak, Kurama's cloak, and all that. So yeah, and since it's gonna be a yin and yang, I'm making it into like that. The yin and yang release will be basically, Naruto. Well, basically a white and black KCM cloak. All right. Bye everyone. Hope you guys have a nice day or night wherever you guys are. And second video I'll be working on is the Naruto the Ashura and Indra reincarnation. That video and all that. All right. Bye everyone.